dietitian and health coach with MLK Health Center and Pharmacy. For this month, we're doing a few different videos that are focusing on just the coronavirus crisis, and more specifically, just ways that we can cope, ways that we can deal with some of the added stress and anxiety, some tips to incorporate more mindfulness. And for this video, I'm going to be talking about ways that we can try to eat healthy during the midst of this. It's obviously going to be the first thing people ask since I'm a dietitian, so I'll talk about just some things to keep in mind during this kind of weird time that we're in right now. So for starters, anytime I recommend a healthy eating style, I always go to my plate. So with the plate, as you can see here, we have half vegetables, non-starchy vegetables, not your potatoes or corn, but any other vegetable. About a quarter of the plate is starch, so your pasta, rice, beans, potatoes, quinoa, things of that nature. And then a quarter of the plate is going to be protein, chicken, fish, beef, pork, eggs, whatever you might like. So this plate is a good starting point. It's just kind of a general reference of the ratio of things that you want to have on your plate. This is how I try to plan most of my meals. I just keep that in the back of my mind. I want to have a starch, a protein, and a vegetable on the plate. I'm not saying you're doomed to a life of chicken breast and salads. We had crispy skin-on chicken thighs the other night with some roasted sweet potatoes, and I think we had some steamed broccoli to go with it. So you can kind of mix and match, fill in the blanks, but just keeping that as a rough framework. One starch, one protein, and a vegetable. I like this plate because it allows you to be flexible, and that's my first tip for people right now with trying to eat healthy. I think the stores are adjusting now, but some places may still be experiencing just kind of weird grocery store selection. There are certain sections that may be cleaned out, or they may not have ground beef that day, but they do have ground pork, or whatever it might be. So with that plate model, you can be a little more flexible. Just prep whatever meat you can find, like prepping grains that maybe you can buy in bulk, whatever vegetables are available, so you can kind of mix and match that way. I've been relying a lot on my crock pot just to make shredded chicken, pulled pork, pot roast, things like that I can cook and have 2 or 3 days worth of protein to eat off of. But yeah, being flexible is going to be important right now because you may not have quite the same selection as you did before. Something else that I'm relying on a good bit right now are going to be things like soups and stews and casseroles. I like these for a few different reasons. One is it's a good way to hide vegetables if you maybe have family that's not huge veggie eaters. Soups especially can be a good way to add extra vegetables or kind of just let them blend in, so kids or spouses or whoever may not realize that they're eating more vegetables. Soups and stews also tend to be cheap. For a lot of folks, money is tight right now, so leaning towards some of those meals that are cheap. They make a lot of food, feed a lot of people. It's certainly a plus right now. But like I said, if you can try to get in some vegetables, some whole foods, that can help. Or keep that plate in mind. Like I said, I make a lasagna that I really like, but that's it's largely going to be noodles, meat, cheese. It's going to be some pasta sauce, of course, but really my starch and my protein are covered with that casserole. So to balance that out, I'm going to have a salad or some sort of veggie to go with it to kind of bring it back to that plate model, so I can have balance between those 3 different types of foods. A final thought with just eating healthy in general, I think doing what you can, working in vegetables when you can, trying to follow that plate like I said, but if it's adding a lot of stress to your plate, don't worry about it. We're in a time where a lot of us have undue stress from this current situation, and you don't necessarily need diet to be another another part of that. I had a moment in my first few days of kind of self-isolation or spending way more time at home. I was really overwhelmed. I'd read a lot of news stories. I was so wound up and so anxious, and it was getting close to lunchtime, and I was like, oh my God, I haven't been to the store. Like, we don't have, I just got so worked up. All I had in the house was cereal, and I'm like, well, I can't have cereal for lunch. I'm a dietitian. And just had to have a kind of come to Jesus meeting with myself, where it was like, you can have cereal for lunch and it's going to be fine. It's just not worth getting so wound up about it. We're doing what we can. We're all kind of working together to get through this. That means it's not going to be perfect right now. So if your diet slips, or if you have a day where you're just going to have cereal for lunch, that's okay. Like I said, do what you can, but don't let it be another stressor in the midst of everything that's going on right now. I hope that was helpful. A reminder to everybody to please stay home unless you absolutely have to go out. Let's all be responsible and work together to flatten that curve. Stay safe. I hope these tips were helpful. Thank you for watching.